Geez, I just realized I don't have an intro for this. Hey, everybody, it's Saturday Hockey Talk. I'm Rick. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the channel. All right, so we don't have a game tonight, so I thought I'd, do a Saturday Hockey Talk. Haven't done one. I realized since I think it was February 1st. So it's been a while. The Habs are no longer in the wild card spot, so I thought we'd talk about the playoffs and the Habs' chances and all that kind of stuff. So, if you are here, I don't know, is anybody here? If you're here, say hi. Let me know you're here. If you got any questions, if I can answer, I will. We can talk about any aspect of what's going on with at least with the Habs in the East race. I'm not as familiar or as up on things on the West Coast, but we can talk about that as well. And we'll go over there. Let's see who's here. Nobody making comments, so I don't know who's here. Habs Guru's here. Hey, Guru. Well, it's going good. It would be a little better if everybody that was here would just say hi. Just say hi and let me know you're here, and we'll talk about stuff. Hey, Phil. How's it going? Hey, Phil. I don't have anything really prepared for it. I'm working on a video trying to figure out Habs targets for that. They might be Habs targets. For that second line center position that they're going to definitely be going to find somebody in the offseason. So I'm going. My idea was like a Habs target on every team. I don't know that there's going to be targets on certain teams. So anyway, I'm doing that. Don't worry, I'll get to them. O'Reilly, and I don't off the top of my head because I haven't gotten very far yet, right? So I don't think O'Reilly would be. I don't think I'd go there. McTavish for sure from the Ducks. Got to figure he's on there. As a matter of fact, I saw a projection, an AI projection for the Habs lineup for next season, and McTavish was the guy that AI thought that they're going to get, I guess. Zegras, no, not taking Zegras. Pajot for the second line center. JG Pajot. With the Habs playing mediocre and needing to win to get, or wait, I'm gonna read that again. With the Habs playing mediocre and needing to win to get at least a point in the last few games, and needed to win. Okay, so I was trying to be smart there. They're not out of it, even though right now they're sitting just outside. As a matter of fact, tied in points with the wildcard team, which is Columbus. They've got some games that they should win. They have the ability, I believe, or the potential there for a small winning streak, of which I kind of think is probably could be 5 games. If they can pull that off, it's not over, right? But the problem is that there's 3 teams tied at 75. I think the Islanders are at 74. There's a team at 74, and then Detroit's at 73. So, with all varying 10 or 11 games, I think one team has 9 to go. So it's matchups. It's what the teams you got left to play. Are you on the road more? Are you at home more? Like that is probably going to determine who's going to be. Now, I had said a month ago, I think, where I thought Montreal was going to make it, but they're going to clinch on the last day of the season. So we probably still have a bit of a roller coaster ride to go through till the end of the season. Drew is not a center, Phil. Wake up. Smell the coffee, dude. Smell the coffee down there. Hey, Automatic. Hey, long time no see. Good to see you out there. Everything's good. I hope the same for you. You think we need 6-2-1 to get it? It might be actually 7-2-1, to be very honest. But it depends, right, on what the other teams are doing. And all the other teams are kind of in the same boat as Montreal, where they're not really winning, except I think Columbus is doing a little better job. So, it's just a matter of if Montreal, let's say this, Montreal's got Florida 2 games now in a row, right? Home and home. Then they've got Boston. I want to say Boston, Nashville, and Philadelphia. And those are 3 winnable games. So say there's a miracle happens, and Montreal, who has Florida Panthers number, it seems like this season, if they by like a miracle win these next 2 games and then win those 3 games that I just said, and then they've got a couple other games after that, they're back in that. They probably are going to be in the wild card if they can do that, right? So the thing is, can they do that? I don't know. We're going to find out starting tomorrow in the afternoon. Don't forget, it's 1:00 start for Florida, in Florida. I still don't know why it's an early start on a Sunday like that. No idea. If anybody knows, please let me know here in the chat here. Yeah, so it's not over. It doesn't look great today. But I mean, it's not like they've dropped out by 3 or 4 points, right? They're tied in points. The problem is all the other teams with them that have a chance will beat them in a tiebreaker. So Montreal literally has to be ahead. They can't do like Columbus now, tied with 3 teams, but they're in there. So we'll see what happens. Look, we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting finish to the season. We have, what are we today? So there is, after tonight, for the Habs, I don't know if everybody finishes on the 16th, but there's 18 days left in the season, in the regular season. And then do we go on or do we not? Who knows? Even if they don't make the playoffs, though, a good season for Montreal. They accomplished their goals. It's a good season for Montreal. All right. Anyway, listen, now there's only 6 people, so I guess I haven't entertained at all. But if you are here, please say hi. Let me know. You got any ideas for targets for the Habs? Do you want to talk about the playoffs, what their chances are? I haven't seen any updates on the odds from Vegas type of thing. At one point, they had 49% chance to make the playoffs. I'm sure that's dropped. But I'm curious to see how much. But I haven't seen that. And other than that, everyone's leaving. So I guess I'm here to entertain, although I don't really, like I said, I wasn't really prepared as far as that. I didn't prepare anything because usually Saturday Hockey Talk is about you guys and just a little back and forth and that kind of stuff. So, and once again, I'm looking at the Drouin. Drouin is not a center. So I really doubt Montreal will be looking for a winger for why. I can see them once they secure a second line center. I can see them going for a defenseman, a right side defenseman, potentially. A guy that can play in the top 4. Yeah, I mean, Guru, of course. If you don't see the progress, right? I'll highlight that. If you don't see the progress this year, you're blind and have not watched a game. Well, if you're blind, you haven't watched a game. But you haven't listened to, right? I mean, how can you not see progress? Look where they are. Their goal was to get exactly here and be in the mix. I don't think their goal ever was that they said, we're going to make the playoffs. Their goal was to be in the mix. Being in the mix is exactly where they are with 10 games left in the season. Yeah, mission accomplished. So anything that they might do by making the playoffs is is bonus. So yeah, so you can imagine they secure Mason McTavish was mentioned. So say they make a trade with the Ducks and they get McTavish. So now you're looking at next season. Maybe they're not fighting like this for the wild card, or maybe they're sitting in maybe 3rd spot. But you could see that happening when they improve that second line. I mean, they're here where they are right now without a second line to speak of, right? Second line of the Habs is basically, if not the worst second line in the league, it's right there. While the other three lines are top 10. If I was reading correctly today, the first line is a top 10 line in the league. The fourth line, which was the number one line for fourth lines in the league, is a top 10 line, not number one, and line 3 as well. So the killer here is the second line. You get Demidov coming in, you get that center that you're looking for. Line A on the other end. That second line is now quality, and you're competing for not just a wild card, probably, right? So, and any way you shake it out, the experience these guys are getting trying to clinch that wild card or get that wild card, that's great experience, right? And even if they don't get in, you learn from that, and you put that to use next season. So either way, it's good. I'm happy with the way things are going. I'm going to be a little disappointed if they don't make it, because I kind of worked myself up to being, hey, I think we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to get playoff games. So if it doesn't happen, I may be a little disappointed, but that's all. It'll go away pretty quickly. What can you do? All right, that was a good monologue. Anybody else want to add to my monologue at all? Anybody? It's Saturday Hockey Talk. I don't smoke on camera anymore, but it's a special, so I'm going to do it. So join me if you got them. And if you got questions, please talk to me here. Line A seems to have cooled down, seeing the same issues after other teams have had to deal with. Hopefully he can stay interested and productive. I mean, this is true, but if you want to, here's a good look at it. Even though I agree with you, he seems to be cooled down. He looks like he floats out there. There's a lot of things you could look at him and say, I don't really like. And yet, look at his points totals. Galley's got 31, 77 games or whatever number of games they played. And Line A with 47 games, I think, also has 31. Now, there's not a point of game or anything, but you can see here's a guy where you can complain about him, about what he looks like out there, and still puts up points. And that shot of his, you can count on one hand how many guys have that shot in this league. There's issues there, obviously. They've got a year left. They've got another year on the contract. Don't have to sign him right away after July 1st. So I think they wait a little bit, see what they can do with him, and you make your mind up next year on Line A. But I think they keep Line A. I think they do. He puts up points. He's got that shot. He's such a threat on the power play. I think with a center, quality center, you got Demidov on the other side. I think we'll see more production from him next year. So you got to wait and see what happens with him there. But believe me, I watch him play now after the first bunch of games we had where we were all excited about it. I don't know. I hear all these complaints about him, and now because of that, maybe I see it all in his game, and I'm not, I'm disappointed a little bit. But I mean, he's a bit streaky, but he puts up numbers when he's hot. And honestly, when that shot is right, there's no goalie stops it, and there's only a few guys in the league that have that kind of shot. Yeah, that shot is what, made the kid, is that shot. And hopefully he gets the bug that the other kids on the team have, where they want to learn more from St. Louis. They want to get better, and hopefully Line A catches that bug too. And if that happens, well, we'll see an improvement in him next year. He must want to disprove those knocks on him or overcome that and be better. He must want that. This is the right team for that, in my opinion. And if not, you move him at the deadline next year. That's all. I don't think they will, though. I don't think they will. I think Liney's probably here for a little while. Steven, I don't think it's. I don't know if Caulfield is the driver of that first line, but I think in general that if the first line plays well, the team is going to probably win. I mean, that's how it's been, really, right? Has he been a bit cold? You got to think that first line, they don't have a second line behind them to for teams to. I'm not putting it the right way. Since they don't have that second line, that that really successful second line, teams can sort of the word's not coming to me. I don't know why, but they can concentrate on them and whatever. So they play really hard minutes. And so you can also see next year, if they do get that second line fixed up, how much better line one can be, right? And if you're wondering, can Cole Caulfield score 50? I think when they've got a second line so that teams can't key on that first line, I think, they won't see only the top quality, the best line on the other team. They'll start seeing a little bit easier competition, and they'll score a little more, and he'll get more goals and all that. But I don't know that Caulfield necessarily cold. I think the line one's been a little cold for a couple of games, right? They've lost 5 in a row. Anyways, I'm fine with it. I just think they really got to get that second line fixed up. Like if they had a second line center now that was of quality, they'd be making the playoffs. And I kind of have no doubt about it. And because teams, I guess, that they're going to be dealing with know that they need this guy, he might come at a premium. So options, I think, will be open. I think all the options are open, right? So offer sheets, free agent if they can find that guy, whatever the avenues that are available to them, they'll be looking for this guy. Hockey Junkie. Hey, Junkie, how you doing, man? Good to see you out there. Random question. Can you imagine this team without Lane Hudson now? No, come on. No. I mean, really, right? How can you imagine this team without Lane Hudson? We haven't had a game yet where he's not in the lineup, right? Since he started. I don't even want to see a game where he's missing a game. So I hope this kid has an Iron Man streak and he's never out of the lineup. He brings so much excitement. He's crazy how good he is. Can't stop thinking about how much of a steal he is. Yeah, I mean, you got to be really happy that, because I think a lot of people, even here in Montreal, made fun of the fact that he had this letter from the doctor that, hey, he's small, but he hasn't fully grown. He's still going to have another growth spurt and all blah, blah. And he probably could get up to 5'11". Now he hit 5'10", and it was true. But I think a lot of teams were like, yeah, too small. And thank God for that, because if not, Lane Hudson obviously should probably have been a top 10 pick. Do I think they can hang on, I'll put this up. Do I think they can do with Doc what they did with Armia and Anderson, give him a role to excel in? If so, what does that role look like? To me, now I'm gonna just say this isn't like me coming up with this, but everything I'm hearing and reading about it is he'll be shifted to the wing and probably third line. So you'll see Newhook, Doc, and somebody on the other side. Don't know yet. Could be Anderson, could be Gallagher, something like that, right? And I think that's where they'll go, and we'll still have a really good, solid third line that can score goals. And yeah, so I think that's where he's going to go. Steven, Steven's disappointed right now, and I'd like to say goaltending is the problem, but it's not. Last game they got 14 shots, didn't they? Yeah, no, listen. The thing about Carolina and that 15 shots, Carolina is giving up the least amount of shots in the league. I think they're averaging 24 point something against. So, that contributed to it. Montreal wasn't very good last night, and the Canes were like suffocating. That's what I noticed. That they gave no time and space, hardly any, anyways. To the Habs players, whether they were 5-on-5, whether they were on the power play, and they didn't really give them a lot of time and space. I found so. Carolina's that kind of team to play against. They're a really solid defensive team that can score too. And the goaltending too. Look at Freddie Anderson's numbers, right? He hasn't played a ton of games, but he's got like now 18 games in. So going into last night, it was like 17 games or something he's played this year. It was a 207 goals against and a 918 save percentage. Quality goaltending and enough starts to say, well, 5-6 starts, we don't really know yet. Yeah, 17 starts. So it's a quality goaltender. The Habs they're not firing on all cylinders right now. And that second line's not helping. So that's where they are. Guru says, Hudson is the straw mixing the drink. And this is actually very true. He messes up sometimes, but is responsible. Way more pros than cons. The messing up sometimes, you got to live with that with a guy like him. What did I hear is that it's like Hudson's show out there. When he's on the ice, he gets the puck. It's his decision what to do. And they just follow along. As a rookie, and he's got that responsibility. It's like crazy, but I mean, it works. Yeah, Carolina. I mean, they're a good team. Even with the fiasco there with the Rantanen and all that, they still got a good player back in Stankoven, a good young player, but he's not Rantanen right now, obviously. But they're such a solid defensive team and solid goaltending that it's not an easy team. We happen to end up. We end the season against them. Not looking forward to that. I'm hoping not everything's riding on that, but I have a feeling it might be. So we'll see. Junkie says, I'm kind of hoping the Leafs play the Sens in the first round. I think that would actually be pretty exciting, and I hope the Sens beat them. And then the Sens get eliminated in round 2. That's perfect. I think if Montreal makes the playoffs, we're not going to get Toronto. So if we can't get them in the first round, let's put it this way: if we advance, we're not going to play Toronto because Toronto doesn't make it out of the first round. Although this year worries me. They've got a better team, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's fine. The Sens, that's a good rivalry there too. Ontario, they don't like each other, those two teams. So we all want to see that. Oh, I could put something up here. Give me a second. I'm going to put something up that's going to give you a laugh on that I found the other day. I got to just find it because I don't know exactly what day. I know I didn't get rid of it, but whenever I try to look for something under pressure, I don't find it. Here it is. I just found it. So this is what is it? It's a picture from the Leafs when the Leafs last won the cup. So this is a picture taken when the Leafs last won the cup. And I think my favorite part about that is that the Molson and the Labatt 50 stubby there. I love that. I saw that. I have to have that one. Oops. Where's me comments? There we are. So yeah. Gotta love that. All right. Anyways, listen. There's a lot of people here now. 15 people. Say hi if you're here, and if you got anything you might want to know that hey, I might know and I might not. If I don't know it, I'll just lie about it. If I do know it, I'll tell you what it is, but you won't know the truth. You won't know which one I'm doing. So now, if I don't know what I'm saying, I won't say it. I'll tell you that I don't know if it's whatever. I try to be honest. And I don't like being sensationalistic for the purpose of clickbait. I don't like doing that. Hey, Joe from the future, how's it going, Joe? Good to see you. So yeah, and if this is a special episode, so I'm gonna do this on camera, as I said. But if you're smoking, smoke with me. If not, you got to watch me. Hey, Junkie, maybe we can get you on the pod. We should have you on the pod again. And if you're interested, let me know. You got my email. Send me an email when it's good. We record on Wednesday nights. So if you got any Wednesday nights, you can give us an hour. We'd love to have you on. You can even stay off camera. Actually, I think we do have to show off camera, all of us. Matt's always off camera. Hey there, Bruce. How's it going, Bruce? Yeah, just shoot me an email when you might be available, and then we'll have you on. It feels like it's been forever since we had you on. Be good for our ratings too. We also should try to get you on the big pod, our NHL pod that we do on Mondays. So we're doing that. I was going to say tomorrow, but tomorrow's not Sunday. So, all right, everybody, just watching along. If you're out there and you got something to say, come on, now's your opportunity. Same here, Junkie. Same here. Always good to. Well, I haven't seen you yet, so I don't know what. I honestly don't know what you look like, but it's always good to talk to you. I'm doing good, Bruce. I'm doing good. Hopefully, you are too. I hope, but I know you must be sick with how we've lost so many lately. No, I'm not sick with that. And you know why? Maybe next season be a different story, but this season. It'd be great if they make the playoffs, and I'm all for it and all that, and I'm cheering for them. But man, if they don't make the playoffs, it's not a live or die kind of situation, right? So, I'll be disappointed, but I'm not going to be sick or angry or like that, Disappointment's all you're going to get because I really am hoping they'll make it. But man, were we really expecting them to? No. And they've given us kind of up and down, but man, the highs have been really great and well worth having to put up with the lows of the season. So if this is the kind of thing that we're going to see more consistency at, right, those high points, I just want more in the future. But I'm not going to be angry if they don't make the playoffs because there's a really good possibility that they don't. Joe says second C and right D should be the two positions targeted in the offseason. I think that is what they are going to do. I kind of think they're going to concentrate on getting that second center first, and then find because the kind of D they're looking for, I think that guy's available, probably in multiple places, so they can find him, and then we'll see what else they do, but. I think that 2C is priority. Sens leading 3-1 against Columbus. Sens are ahead of us, and we're not catching the Sens. Go, Sens, go. Bruce says, I feel so depressed lately. No, over hockey? Come on, Bruce. Enjoy where they've been. Enjoy the experience of this season. Enjoy feeling good about the team again and having a team that, has a winning record and is playing, mostly playing great. And you'll see the consistency over the next couple of seasons. Don't be depressed. You should be excited about that, not depressed. That for me, that's how I'm looking at it. Random thought, says Junkie, but I think if Line A stays healthy next season, he's going to crush it. Injecting a guy like Demidov in the top 6 is going to be just what the doctor ordered for Line A and whoever else. And not just that, because I talked about this before you got here. The second line center, you're adding a guy that can dish the puck, and that guy that they're going to get is going to be a guy that's good defensively, 200-foot game, make up for some of Line A's defensive inabilities. That's the word I'll use. Right? You got that. You got the offense that's going to come from that. Line A, I think he's gonna earn it the next contract. I said it before too. Line A's going to be here for a while, right? But they're not going to just sign him right now or as soon as the first opportunity. They're going to wait for during the season to see how it works out first. Bruce, I mean, I can only give you the same advice. It's not a season to get your hopes set on playoffs. It's just not. If you're going to be depressed or just, that upset about it, you shouldn't. It's just not the right season to do that. Like I said, next season, I'd probably give you say, yeah, what can you do, right? But this year, you should temper it a little bit because until they do make the playoffs, so then, yeah, scream and yell. But until then, they might not. And I'm just not gonna go there this year. Habs Guru. It was a slow start at the beginning of the season. For a while, I wasn't sure what to expect, and then they started playing good. But it was up and down, right? It was down, then they're up, and up. Right? That's kind of how it's been. So right now they're on that down. They got 10 games. If they can turn it around starting tomorrow, they got 10 games. And I believe, if I'm correct, there's 6 winnable games in there. Like 6 winnable games. And if they can pull an overtime at the other one, I think there's enough for them to get to the playoffs. So, if that trend continues like that, they're on a down, they should come up. And if there was only a few games left, there's not enough time, but there's 10. 10 games is enough time for them in the situation they're in right now to get out of it. With Newhook speed, says Joe, Demidov would suit the second line. Newhook will not be the second line center. I'm not a betting person. I don't like gambling, and I don't like putting money on things like that. But I would put money on the fact that Newhook will not be your second line center to start next season. Newhook should be the third line center. And he makes a lot of sense for the third line center. Yeah, I mean, Junkie, right? How could it not? Their big problem is that with even a decent second line, with a decent second line, they probably would be where the Sens are, and the Sens would that's the difference, I think. Junkie says, I kind of liked Dylan Cousins. I think that was a decent ad for the Sens. It was, and a stupid move for Buffalo. And I'm glad Montreal didn't make that trade. They were asking for Slaffer or Caulfield. It's like, no. But yeah, Cousins, any questions people had about Cousins, he's answered them in Ottawa, I think. Renegade Man, how's it going, man? Whether they make the playoffs or not, we should be proud of the team. Exactly. It also shows the improvement on the team. It's actually, they're in the 4th year now. 3-year rebuild is pretty good compared to Detroit and Buffalo. They are actually, if you look at it, and I think this is, it's not me doing the timeline. I was reading somebody who I really like, and I trust, Brian Wild, and he says we're already in year 4. At the early part of year 4, but we're there. So they're right on target for that year 5, the rebuild being over. And there's never been a rebuild that has been less than 5. So, they're right up there with the fastest rebuilds there have been. And when Demidov gets here, and if they find that center, all you're doing really is now you're waiting for Fowler. Once Fowler is here, rebuild is done, fully done, my opinion. Junkie, what do you think of that one, what I just said there? Everything I'm hearing and reading, and the opinion seems to be Newhook is probably best suited to be that third line center. And there won't be room on the wing once Demidov's here. I don't see where there's going to be room on the wing. You're going to have Slav, Caulfield, Laine, Demidov. Top 6. I don't see where you're going to have Newhook down there. What do I think of Suzuki asking Hughes not to trade anyone? Leadership. Tremendous leadership. Because not only did he ask that, then the team went out and went on that winning streak, and Suzuki was by far the best player on the team. He pulled up his bootstraps and just pulled them along with him. So tremendous leadership. The dynamics will change with players coming or going in the offseason. Was Suzuki just delaying the natural progression of a rebuild? No, it's leadership. He believes in his guys, and he made it happen. So I think it's just leadership. Will Reinbacher hit? I think he will. I mean, I know everyone's worried about the knee, but everything I know about right now from the knee, like if he misses a game or whatever, it's not that the knee is injured. It's that they're managing the recovery because he came back, he's back quite fast. So they want to be very preventative. If there's anything, even the slightest, that it might be something, they're resting him, or it's built in until they're 100% sure. I imagine once the playoffs are done over there, he's going to play in the playoffs. So I think he's fine with the injury, and everything I'm hearing about him sounds like he's going to be fine in the NHL. Once he hits, I don't think we're going to be talking nearly as much with Demidov here also about Michkov, which we still have to put up with. And the Habs were not going to pick Michkov. This is what's come out. It's clear. They weren't picking Michkov. So I think Reinbacher is going to be great. And it's not because of Reinbacher that they weren't picking Michkov. It was because of Michkov that they weren't picking Michkov, from what I'm hearing. One thing I have been noticing a lot lately is how much we miss the Carey Price puck handling, breakout passing. Great, we can miss it all we want. He's not coming back, so I don't tend to want to look at that and say, well, these guys we have now, they can't do that. Well, that's fine because they're not Carey Price and he's not coming back. They do what they do. I'm not going to criticize them for not being Carey Price. You know what I'm saying? So I don't kind of look at it like that. How about Florian Xhekaj? Over 20 goals, 170 penalty minutes. First time it's been done in many years, and he's only 20. He's a Xhekaj. They play with such determination and never kind of quit and always trying to be better and all that. I think he'll be, a bottom 6 guy here probably for many years. So, yeah, I really like that kid, and I can't wait till he hits. Well, I don't want to get hit by him. Can't believe I saw Habs fans complaining about picking Xhekaj in the 4th round on Twitter. What a joke. Looks like a real solid pick right now. So we're talking about Florian again. Yeah. You know what you do with people that say that? Just like, no. Go learn hockey. Now he's solid. I mean, a kid listen, when they drafted him, I was saying, I think it's like, kind of like for Arbor, like encouragement and support. And I mean, no, they obviously saw a lot of good stuff in that kid. Bruce says, I feel Torts seems to alienate the majority of skilled players who have played for him, especially over the past 15 years. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I don't know that the Torts today is that same guy. I do know that the problem why they fired him, there was a big argument that happened between him and Cam York. Both people went over the line, is what was said, crossed the line. York got benched in the game they beat us, and they fired Torts. So, but everything else leading in the last few years seemed like he's a little bit more mellow, a little bit different, not the same Torts. So, does he alienate players? That's inevitable to a certain point anyway, right? Everybody can't be loved by everybody. So any coach is gonna have some players that don't like him, I would think. Torts is who he is. His record speaks for itself, and he's a good coach for certain situations. That's Jack Guy's numbers right now. I thought he already hit it, actually. I saw some stuff about it earlier today. Is Florian a center or is he a winger? I want to say Florian's a winger. You feel Jack Guy is like a better Tom Wilson? You may be right. You may be right, but we don't know yet. I mean, he might be that type of player, and he is, but we don't know till he hits. But definitely he's of that ilk, right? Because Tom Wilson, whether you like him or not, and I don't, but he can play hockey. If he would stick to just playing hockey, he can put up decent numbers, and he's tough to play against. Bruce, and that's just a fact, right? Not whoever you are, not everybody, even the most loved coach, there are guys that didn't like him. I mean, that's just the fact. Except for Marty. I really honestly don't think there's anybody in the room right now that doesn't like him. But over the years, will that always be the same? No, there's gonna be guys that'll come out and say, I don't like him. He's horrible. Whatever. It's gonna happen. Joey can play, but I think he's a winger. He's probably a winger who could play center if needed, is my guess with Florian. And probably in the NHL, he's going to be a winger. Your daughters, Autumn and Avery, are they twins? We're wondering if you think we get a win tomorrow. Well, I know how I had it on my video that I did to try to figure out the wins, and I haven't done well, so don't look at that. But I think I had it as a loss, but a 50-50 thing where the way that Montreal's played Florida in the first two games this season with them, if that's the kind of team, and like if we play them like that, I think we can win that game. I think otherwise it's a loss. So it's a 50-50 depending on the team that comes out, So I'm not prepared to say that it's a win. I could easily say it's probably a loss, but I'm hoping they're going to lose in overtime if they're going to lose. And I will say that if they do win, I kind of think they're going to go on that streak I am talking about. So So we'll see. If you're going to ask me in advance about the one where the next game in Montreal against them, I had that as a win, and I think they'll win that game. So, but that was before this little losing streak. So we'll see. Everybody isn't going to love everybody. Absolutely. No, that's just life. Sometimes we need to picture ourselves with 20 plus random dudes in a locker room every day. There will always be forced friendships sometimes. No, but it's like, okay, if you had a group of friends, right? Let's say that you got like 7 buddies, right? And then if you think about that, right, you can pick out 2 or 3 guys for sure. You'll love hanging out with those guys, right? And then there's 2 or 3 guys that, yeah, you like hanging out with them in the group setting, but you can't really see yourself hanging out alone, just the 2 of you hanging out doing something, right? Kind of like that, right? I have, let me read it. I have him. I guess because you got an 8 there. I have him being mentioned more as a C. Really? For me, he's a winger. I could be wrong, but for me, I think of him as a winger. Mind you, I don't get AHL games, so only go by what I see mentioned by any form of social media back stats. Anybody watch Laval a lot? Is he playing wing or center in Laval? Florian. Love all you guys. We got to go. Well, good night. And good night, Autumn and Avery. Good night. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Go Habs, go. And good seeing you, Automatic. Good seeing you. Well, I didn't, but seeing your name out there. Junkie says Florian Jackeye does play center a lot of games I've seen. Also kills penalties now as well. Well, good. See, that's information I didn't know that. I really thought he was a winger. I really thought he was kind of strictly a winger. So, I don't know where he's going to get an opportunity in the next bunch of years to play center, except if there's injuries, right? We know Evans is locked in for 4. A new hook for now. I don't know when his contract is up, but so I don't know what'll happen there, but you never know. You never know what's going to be freaking 2 months from now, pretty much. They're using him on the power play now, too? See, that's something, right? Who would have thought that? Florian Jackeye is going to be a power play guy. But listen, he's done the work. He's improved his game. I mean, you can't argue with it. And that's a part, okay, I'll put this up. So Junkie said he's hard to move when he's in front of the net. Looks like a friggin' fridge. Isn't this a problem Montreal's having? Nobody in front of the net enough. On power plays especially, right? So, he could be up here, second unit, that guy that's in front of the net. But I know I'm not wrong. It's been a problem for Montreal, not just on the power play, but in general, right? Especially on the power play, that big body in front of the net. There's no real net presence by anybody really on this team. Yeah, so I mean, there's a possibility for him there. I kind of when they drafted him, I thought he was, he could make the team. Maybe he doesn't. The more I see and hear about him, I think he's a definite going to make this team. I don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after. Probably the year after, but he could be. He could be up here at some point next year. From what I'm seeing, or from in my opinion, I'll just say. I wish I'd be able to get these things to stay lit, and I don't know how to do that. I've been smoking these things for so long. You think I know how to keep them lit? Nope, not after 50 years. I still don't have the answer to that. All right. How many we got here? All right. If you're here, haven't talked to me yet, please do that. Say hi. Let me know you're here. Toss out a question or two. And I'm really appreciating Junkie tonight for all these questions. I appreciate that, buddy. Wonder if Reinbacher plays in the NHL for a full season next year, or does he make the team out of camp? I mean, that's an interesting question because I've heard talk about this. I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on how he's doing. From everything I hear, he's fine. He's playing really well, to the point where I've heard they thought he may come up a little bit this season. I kind of don't know about that. I don't think so. It's going to depend on camp. It's going to depend on camp. I think he's got the kind of talent that, even though he's had some setbacks in his development, right? Obviously, with the injury and all that. Yeah, I think he's still going to be okay, and he's not going to take. He might not take like the year he lost this year. He might not have to take that year next year. So I think there's a possible. It's a long, really long way to say. I think it's a good possibility that Reinbacher is here at some point next year, if not straight out of camp. Sens a 3-1 lead. Go Sens, go! Yeah, that would be an awesome thing if the Sens could hold on to that. Problem is lately, right? Teams aren't. I don't know. We're cheering for them to get, to help the Habs out, and they don't. So, anyways, we can't. The Habs cannot catch the Sens. It's so unlikely that they would catch the Sens or any of the teams catch the second wild card. So, I feel very comfortable to cheer them on to beat Columbus. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. No, yeah, it's tomorrow's game. Except that, 1 o'clock in the afternoon is a lot better than 10 at night or 10:30. So, yeah. But it's still a bit of an odd time. But also for the team, it's not a full 2-day turnaround. I'm interested to see if Monty's going to get the start tomorrow or Dobish. I think, considering the Thursday loss to Philadelphia, it's going to be Monty tomorrow. And we'll see. So those are a couple of questions I have for tomorrow. I'm hoping, they've lost 5 in a row. Okay, so you've had a slide. It's over now. You got 10 games left. It's time for straight. Come on, get back on the winning track. Put a streak together. Because if they do, they're going to win. They're going to make the playoffs. If they sputter their way to the end of the season, they probably don't. Yeah, Joe, I know you're not looking forward to it. Yeah. What can you do? Put it on like DVR it or something, no? Well, you might not be able to, I guess. Florida even has extra rats now. Yeah. They threw some rats out. Was it last night, right? He picked one up and took it with him. Marchand assisted, I believe. Oh, I left that up there. Assisted on the winning goal there with Bennett. So that's interesting right there. I mean, it's going to be weird tomorrow to see Marchand in a Florida uniform. I'll just say that. It's going to be really weird to see Marchand. But the Rat in a new uniform. Oh, that's true. It's Monday for you there. So you get a hockey game in before you got to go do whatever you got to do. I like Sam Bennett for that, but I don't think Sam Bennett's the guy Montreal's going to acquire or sign for that second line spot. I really don't think so. Mostly because of age and amount of money, and years, like term he's going to want and the price. I don't think Bennett's going to be an option. And from what I'm reading, Bennett and the Panthers are starting to talk. So he's probably re-signing with the Panthers if they can find a way to make the money work, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we need a guy, we need a guy like that, right? Kind of like Ben, But I'd like a guy that can get 60 to 70 points. Bennett hasn't been able to do that in his career. But hey, listen. But I don't think Bennett is the guy. Because he's going to be way too old at the end of whatever contract they're going to have to sign him to. I don't think they're going to do that. Zegras is not. I mean, I've been very vocal about that. No. And you're putting there, not sure I'd risk it. And this is a point of the guy that they're going to get is not going to be a risk. It's not going to be a reclamation project. It's not going to be a project of any kind. They're going to go out and get a guy who's established enough so you know what you're going to get from that guy. That's what I believe. And they've got the assets to do it. They've got the assets to do it. So they're going to get that guy. Who that guy is, I don't know. But my man, Brian Wild, writes today that it should be Sidney Crosby. And I'm right on with that. Because I've said that a few times. But yeah, he thinks that they should offer, let me think, what was it? The 2 first-round picks. And not Michael Hage. Michael Hage, while not necessarily fully an untouchable, should kind of be an untouchable because they don't really know yet exactly what they've got with Hage, whether he's a star or maybe he's just an NHLer but not a star. But he's talking about Beck and or Mayu in the 2 firsts for Sidney Crosby. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take Crosby. 2 years left on his contract. Perfect second line center for this team right now. Hey, Junkie, send me an email. And really, thanks for being here and taking part so much. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Have a great one. It's Saturday. It's still early on. Well, it's later over there, but it's still early enough to have fun. Joe Bennett, he's probably going to resign over there. I don't disagree with you about Crosby, and he's probably not going to leave, but the Penguins really need to be in a rebuild. I mean, they really need to. So if you can convince Dubas to make the move, I think Crosby would be okay with it. I don't think he wants to leave Pittsburgh, so I'm not saying that he does. But I kind of think, because he's already said that when they traded Gensel and he wasn't really happy, he said, listen, if you need to trade me, I'm okay with that. So I think that it would come down to that. And there's probably 2 teams he'd go to and agree to go to. One being Colorado, and I think the other one would be Montreal. He grew up a Habs fan. Yeah, he's got a soft spot for Montreal too. So, listen, Hughes got to try. Because I think that's the right guy. That's the right guy for this young team to put them over the top into the playoffs and to be competitive. So, do I think it'll happen? I don't necessarily, but it also won't happen if you don't pick up the phone and inquire. That's all. So, you do your due diligence as a GM and you see if he's available. And hell, if he's available, man, what would that be like? Imagine having Crosby here for 2 seasons. Awesome. I ate something just before the show that made me really thirsty. What did you write there? S9? What? That would be the real sweetener for Crosby to come here. I don't. Okay, so that would be the real sweetener. Yeah, I think. I think if they really asked him, I think he'd do it. And I think he'd approve going to Montreal. I don't think he'd approve to go to too many other places, but no worries, Joe. It's just sometimes I'm not sure what you're saying. That's all. Don't worry about it. Eric, no, they're going to find somebody, and I think it's not going to be, oh, well, he's a decent guy. I really think they're going to hit a home run when they find that guy. And because they kind of need to. They can't put in a guy that's like, well, if things work out well and this and then it'll work out. I think they want to bring in a guy that they can, kind of like they did with Carrier, confident that they can put him in the lineup and he'll do the job. And I think we're going to get that kind of guy. Guy that's going to come here, and we're not all going to be praying that, oh, was that the right, let's hope. I don't think that. I don't think he wants to make that kind of a move. When he brings in a guy, he wants to be I think he wants to be sure that it's going to work. All right. Anyway, I was only planning to do an hour, and we're at the hour. So, since it's an early game tomorrow afternoon. I know it's 1:00. It's not that early, but I still got stuff and shit to do before the game. Ottawa is winning. Go Ottawa! I wasn't just talking about when I said capital money. That's what I meant. They have the pieces. They've got cap space. They've got everything they need to acquire. Even if it's Sidney Crosby, they're fine. All right, I'm going to take off. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. And in Joe's case, really early Monday morning. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. And have a great rest of the evening. It is Saturday night. It's only 9:00, so you got plenty of time to enjoy yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but that pretty much leaves you open for a lot of things. And that's it. Enjoy. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you tomorrow for the game. Have a good night, everybody. Ciao, ciao. Go Habs, go. And I do this today. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you like this, give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and please share this video.